I'm here with Doc Mack at Galloping Ghost. Super exciting because, for one, obviously you have the largest arcade in the universe, so that's pretty cool. How many games are here right now at this very moment?
Currently, we have a few over at Pinball Expo, but currently there's 845 games that you can play here at the Galloping Ghost Arcade. And every Monday we add a new one, so that number is constantly going up.
That's crazy to me. So a lot of people that watch the channel are collectors, so they're always kind of saying how many games they have down at one given time. It can't be easy to keep that many games up and running. Like, what is that, like a big challenge for?
It absolutely is. It's an everyday thing. Right now, we probably have about 35 games down. It was at 804, we were at 100%.
Oh, wow.
So the number is constantly breathing in and out. Like, some days we get really close where it's like we can see where 100% of everything is running.
Okay.
And then the next day, like a weekend will hit, a bunch of light gun games will need some work, and it's just a constant thing.
Battle. All right, I gotta ask you, it's along those same lines. So, I think I know the answer, but I want to know, because you have more games than I could ever imagine. So what's the biggest issue? Because there's got to be one issue, and I'm sure I know what it is, but I'm curious. Maybe I don't. What's your number one issue that you come across?
For us, it's a little unique. Most of the stuff that a lot of people complain about, like monitors and just common stuff, like light guns needing to be refixed and steering wheels and stuff on drivers, that's so casual that we fix them like nothing.
Right.
Like monitor needs recap, new flyback, tubes go out. That's easy. It's the rare boards when they have an issue that there's no schematics for it. There's nobody that has any information on ever repairing it, and it's basically like a one-of-one game. And that's the stuff that's kind of high pressure for us, just because we want to get it back up, and that's kind of what we're known for, is the really rare stuff. But when something with a custom chip goes down, there's no real place to turn, so we have to do a lot of research. We fortunately have so many people that have made these games that we can tap them and get some inside information, and it's so awesome to have just like people who design the stuff, they've just got the answers.
Yeah,
so.
They've shown such an interest in having their game showcased here, right? Something that's unique that you can't find anywhere else.
Absolutely.
So I think that was the biggest thing for me when we came the other day, and obviously it was just this visit, and we just kind of went around. I was so taken back at how many things I found here that I don't know exist in any other place.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I mean, to say that you can experience something for the first time here that may potentially never be able to be experienced even under emulation.
When we were opening, I had a really good way of bringing stuff in from Japan. So there was rare shmups and just obscure older games from the 80s that you would have thought would have come out here in the US. But just never did for whatever reason. And in putting those out, it really brought us a lot of attention. And once we were able to really showcase how seriously we were about finding the rare games and finding out a lot of the history to them, a lot of the industry people who we knew through our productions company, they just came out and started telling us stories, and that kind of snowballed it, because we've got guys like Brian Colin who made like Rampage and Xenophobe, and he's telling us, he's like, oh yeah, I got a couple of unreleased prototypes in my office. You can just have those if you want them.
That is so cool.
It's kind of kept going. As soon as one or two of the industry people like knew how serious we were, then more were like, hey, can we do an event or something? And that was it was just awesome. It brought so many unreleased prototypes into the light. We got to even work with Brian Colin on a game called Spectre Files that got canceled in 1984. Right. It was just completely scrapped. And we teamed up with our production company and finished the coding. He had all the video footage from it, and it's supposed to be an unreleased Laserdisc game. So we just finished it, and now that's out in a bunch of arcades across the U.S.
Yeah, so that's awesome. I love that. The fact that you can find these unique games and play them here is amazing. So do you think that if you had to say, if someone said, okay, you're coming to Galloping Ghost, like what is the biggest differentiator of this place over another place? Do you isn't that kind of it? It's the uniqueness of the games you'll be able to play, or
it's kind of a combination. We not only have a lot of just dozens of unreleased prototypes and rare stuff that you won't be able to play anywhere else. The industry people are pretty much here every week. Like there's somebody just hanging out, and sometimes they're just playing, sometimes they're here doing events, sometimes they're just hanging out and just chatting about what they're doing now, or we're getting more information on something that's going to be coming out on Monday Mystery. We have an amazing community behind this place where we've got a lot of high score players. So we actually bought a company called Arcade, which was a location tracker and a high score venue, a scoring house, kind of like Twin Galaxies. And we've got now over 500 world records logged in with Arcade. And we're working on redoing that whole site and making that bigger and better and more inclusive to all venues. So it's really kind of the perfect storm of things going here, where it's so many games, the industry people, we take scoring very seriously, and just doing like crazy events like Combat Con or our T20 tournaments and stuff.
That's so awesome. So I, on the lines of the Monday Mystery thing, because I think that's really cool, I'm always constantly watching this going, okay, there can't be that many more games that you haven't found. So I know you probably don't want to reveal this, but do you have in your mind, maybe you don't want to share the names, but are there that many more that you don't have that you want or want to find?
There's about 170 games in the vaults already. So even with just what we have on hand, if we put them all out on the floor, we would be over 1,000 machines. Okay, so wait, the vault is games that are Monday Mysteries that are going to come out. Yes.
So you're telling me you have 170 of those in the vault right now?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Most of them are just boards, and then we'll build up cabinets around them, and we'll do restorations. But it's everything from, even with 845 games, there's still a lot of games that people know, and they're surprised when we say, like, here's your Monday Mystery game, and they're like, how did they not have that one?
Okay.
And it's almost by design, because we still want them to experience that, where it's something they're familiar with, because we can, all day long, we can be putting out stuff that nobody's ever heard of even, because there's just so many rare games or, again, unreleased prototype stuff.
So would you consider the vault kind of like the recipe for Coca-Cola? Like, does no one go into the vault? Like, what's the deal with the vault access?
I'm the only one that has access to the vault.
Okay.
There's one way into it. If somebody said they've seen the vault, it's
They're
not
lying.
true.
Oh.
So there's the vaults are
awesome.
We don't disclose even where it is. So
all right, is there something in the vault right now that you are shocked, and I know you're not going to tell me what it is, but is there something in there right now that you're totally shocked that you were able to get that's going to completely blow people's minds?
In all honesty, after we put out Sega's R360 for our 10-year anniversary, and everything's a little, like, there's some unbelievably rare stuff that we've taken years to track down. But the bar is set so high with everything that we've put out, like Primal Rage 2,
that was awesome.
Beavis and Butthead, R360, Galaxy Force, Dragon Gun. There's just such a huge long list of games that are like, man, I'm really proud that we have that on the floor, and there's so many amazing stories behind those games. There's still a bunch of those in the vaults, but it's hard to compete with some of those other titles.
I can see that, yeah. You constantly keep raising the bar on yourself almost. Is there something that isn't in the vault now that you're kind of keeping it under wraps that you are trying to find right now in the wild that it's like a constant hunt for?
It's kind of the hard thing for us to say what we're looking for. And we see it on Monday Mystery. When we put a new game out, usually the resale value of the game goes up.
Yeah.
So if somebody knows we're looking for the game, we aren't really able to say, because like we were worried that the prices will go up. So we have like people out there specifically looking for us.
Oh, that's very cool.
And most of the stuff, again, it's like when I'm talking with another super collector and it's like, oh, I'm looking for this. And they're like, I don't even know what that is. Like, what is it?
Yeah.
it just has become so difficult to buy games in general, though.
Clearly, you can't do all this without being super passionate. You can't. Like, there's so much passion here. You can feel it when you walk in this place. So, like, what's the main motivation for this? Like, what was your main motivator to do all of this?
There's several, actually. Like, my first company was Galloping Ghost Productions, which we're making an arcade game. So we went to about, this was before we purchased Arcade. We were going around looking at all the venues and like, hey, we can sell our game to this place and we can sell our game to this place. I couldn't find a working Mortal Kombat cabinet in all of Chicago.
Oh, wow,
and it was like, wow, that's really disappointing.
Yeah. Well, how? It seems impossible, especially with Midway being here, yeah.
You would think it would be nothing, but I wanted my guys on my production side to be able to go out and play it. Like, I had them in my basement and stuff, but like, growing up in arcades, it was like, wow, this is really going in the wrong direction. Like, these machines need to be preserved. They need to be out there where the arcades that were still open that had Mortal Kombat, like, I'd go in, put money in, and then it's like, it doesn't work.
Oh man, okay.
I can't come back here and play it again if they're not going to fix it. So it just seemed like such a wide open field of, if it's done where you care about the machines and take care of them, make sure everything's running great, have a bunch of rare stuff, it would do well. So it was really wanting to see it continue on into the future.
Okay.
And I was so surprised after we opened. It took off almost immediately. About a year and a half in, we started helping other arcades open, not as a franchise thing or anything, just like we shared our business model, we shared our tech on how to repair machines, how to get games and everything, and how to build the community behind it. And it's all about keeping the arcade culture alive and make it grow from where it was starting to diminish to balloon it back up.
We all loved the experience of the arcades back in the day, and we want to have that feeling again. What do you think the future of arcade gaming is? Like, is it more about preservation of the past, or is there some kind of interesting, because you have companies like Raw Thrills making games, and you got Eugene over there, but where does it go?
It has to evolve, and I think it has. It's like there's been those staples like Raw Thrills and Play Mechanics. They have really held that torch bright and kept it going forward. It looked like arcades like this could have this huge resurgence, but now we're seeing, because the collector side has gotten so big, it's so hard to get machines. It's like when we opened, we got our first 114 machines. It was like $5,000.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It is. It was 40, 50 bucks a machine. It's unheard of. But now the point of entry is so much more expensive, and that's one of the big things that'll slow everything down, because you can't get the machine. For me, I've always looked at it, there's three things going into point. Venues of where you can play arcade games at, players that want to play them, and then designers and development companies making games for it. The people that want to open arcades, they're there. We've seen them open.
Yeah.
The players are coming. We've seen 80,000 people through the door in a year.
Awesome.
So it's now up to the designers and developers. And that's one of the things with our production company. Like, we have a classic style fighting game coming out. And we're so excited to put that out, because I think a lot of the companies are kind of hesitant to work on a project like that because they don't have numbers for anything.
Yeah.
The budgets are so high.
They don't know what the sales are going to look like, right? Yeah.
So just like with the arcade and sharing all the information that we had to get where we're at, we're outwardly very open about sharing all of our data with the companies in hopes that they'll go back to making more classic style games, and not just like phone games that have been put in an arcade cabinet.
Yeah.
But you've got the talent that made all these games is still out there. And you got, again, Eugene Jarvis, George Petro, those guys are still making games, and Brian Colin, Jeff Lee, the guy who made Qbert, they all want to make games. Who knows where it's going to go?
Yeah, but you think it's bright. It has a bright future. Like, it's not a dying thing.
No.
Okay.
You can see it in 7 days a week here. You can see how it gets perpetuated when people my age and older and younger too, they're coming here to relive that piece of history. But what they're doing is perpetuating it with their kids.
Right, yes.
And just like I used to go to the arcades with my dad, I see that happen
That's
constantly.
awesome, yeah.
And it's hard to not share that with the people that I know that have created the games. It's like I'll see somebody, a family of 3 playing Rampage, and it's like, oh, I got to take a picture of that and send it to
That's so
Brian
cool,
Cullen
yeah.
to let him know that a game that he made 30 years ago is still being enjoyed and loved by people.
That's so awesome. Well, Doc, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time. This
Absolutely.
is great. Like, you're an icon in this field, and it's awesome to meet you, first of all. But also, I don't know. I feel like you can feel the energy in this place. It's good to know that places like this exist, and it's, if anything, people see this and go, it's alive and well, right? It's alive and well, and it keeps going, which is great. So I know as a collector, I appreciate that you take that torch and hold it high for everybody. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Favorite game? Is it the first one you bought, or is it not?
I would still probably say Narc is my favorite game. Given the history that the one that we have here is unique to us because we had this huge Narc event, and George Petro, who was working on the game, the night before, he finished an unreleased level.
I gotta play this. I know. I keep hearing that. It's you play it in a helicopter, right?
It's in a helicopter. You have unlimited missiles, so it's just kind of
no way. Okay.
taking the streets back and blowing
That's
everything
awesome.
up.
That's
so.
awesome. Do you have any idea where I can find a 19-inch medium resolution CRT monitor for my Narc? Because I just bought one. Are they like? Why are those so hard to find?
Well, you know, they shouldn't be. Like, the tubes go bad, but the chassis and yokes are good. And most people don't know you can just swap the chassis
them,
and yoke.
right.
So I've seen people that are like, they get rid of them because they think that the tube is proprietary and different, and it's not. But I might actually have one.
Oh, well, that would be pretty interesting to leave here with a 19-inch CRT. All right, Doc, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thank
I'll
you.
cut you loose. I know you have a lot to do, so I just appreciate the time.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it so much.